Remco presents Power Slam, where you outwit your opponent by playing the right card at the right time. Match your card with the action on the screen and you score big, or outscore your opponent by playing the highest card. But if you fall behind, don't worry. Try for a quick win with a pin. 3 straight wins is all you need to beat your opponent. If you haven't read the complete rules of the game, do it now before starting the first game. Now get ready to play Power Slam.
Flag dropped it.
Kirk ducks a punch. Kirk with a flying body slam. He's got the hook down, but not for long.
Weird tag. He doesn't even know where he's going, Fergal. Look at him. He's in the wrong corner. You see Scott Hall reaching that big arm out. Kurt Hennig trying to get... There it is. There it is. And here comes Scott Hall. And look out, Steve Regal. Big Scott Hall, nearly 300-pound club. Yeah. For the suplex. He's still unable to get... Oh, look at that. On top of the referee. The suplex not hurting Dick Worley. Here comes big Jerry Gordy. Drop kick Martel. A smash by Hayes.
22 pounds, the Animal 287. The Animal now with a headlock on Larry. Down on the floor goes the Hawk. Larry the X, clothesline, elbows. The then...
Welcome back to the Iwar Network Tubecast. I'm your host, Alex G. And with me this evening, we have a good old Matt Riley. We have a good friend, Aaron. What's going on tonight, gentlemen?
The results are in. The Attaboy action is hot. And I had one really good strat, and the rest were, yeah.
So hot, Matt needs a bucket hat to protect
That's
him
right.
from the heat.
That's right. I wanted the ugliest hat possible. I wanted, what's his name? Jack Swagger to say he likes his hat.
That's not stitched on, is it, that logo?
It's printed on.
Oh, not bad.
Yeah.
When are those going up in the Iwar shop?
They're there now. If you go on Redbubble, they're already there. You can get stickers. I think I sent stickers to everybody already. But well, everybody on the Iowa creative team.
Which we're currently sending a call out for new participants for, right?
Yes. I'm looking for someone specifically. I'd like to have a baseball type strategy page where we have all the stats of, like, top 10 scores, top 10 averages, etc. So
I think
We'll see.
Matt's also looking for someone very specialized in the area of ironing his bucket hat.
Yeah. I
If
was
anyone out
thinking
there is interested.
I also put down originally. I put I think I called like senior strategy specialist, and originally I called it like senior strategy fondler. Like, just caress the stats and make them look nice.
So you're just fondling your strategies. Is that what you do now?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
that's fair.
Right.
That is fair. So again, then we have another fantastic episode of the Iwar Network of Two-Cast. What cycle is this? Is this Dog Days? What is this?
October.
It's October, so we had all the fantastic action of the October cycle. So glad to have you all here. In the upper right hand, I guess left hand box, you'll see. Oh, it's a cat.
She is the world's least cuddly cat. She's just like, there we go.
Well, Matt, I dig that for sure. Oh, he's from the full Nelson. That's you go.
You got family, damn it.
You're going straight to hell now. In the upper left-hand portion, you'll see Poly Pro Wrestling, which is Hawaii. So it's the Hawaii territory playing. We got
Nice.
some Rocky Johnson up there. So it's good stuff. Good stuff.
Pinking
as
up
always.
that old. Is that Moondog? Who's that?
I don't know who that is, to be honest. It looks like I don't know. In the comment section, let me know who that is. Is that Scott Irwin? I'm not sure. Scott would know.
Irwin. Man. So
I guess we want to go over our Johnny B trivia. I think that's
Yes.
first up. That's first up.
yeah, that's a lot of Johnny B things here. Okay, so hold on. I'd apply the cat with treats because she.
Leon's out of action currently, but he hopes to be back around Thanksgiving. So.
All right, man. Hope. Good luck for you. Hope we're pulling for you, man.
Yeah, wishing Leon the best.
Yep.
He's
All right.
He's a frequenter of the Tubecast.
Correct. All right. Well, we have our Johnny B tribute. Now, Johnny B, as longtime fans know, Johnny B created the IWA, and Johnny B Jr. is now overseeing it. And Johnny B Jr. will actually chime in and answer questions that we bring up during the show. So
we were
like,
very
forget-
shocked initially that he actually watched the show when we
Yeah.
found out.
Yeah, I remember like, do you think he actually listens? And we're like, not only does he listen, like actually, one more thing AEW or the major leagues took from us. Do you remember, or if you've ever watched BTE and they had Will Washington who will talk about with amazing efficiency, like, well, actually, that was at BT episode 191 through 198. That's how Johnny B is. He's like,
Yeah.
actually, it was on this episode that you talked about this. And I'm like, we did? Man, we talked about so much crap. My first question for next time is, I was recently asked, I got the scores for the Gold Fed, and I was going through them and so forth. And someone said they had asked that way, but they said some players don't want their scores shared. And I was always thinking, there's got to be like a time-saving process. Wouldn't it just save the out-of-way time? Just have the back page be all the scores, or 2 pages. Like, here's who scored what. And I don't think anyone's really, quote, embarrassed per se. Like, I mean, he might have a bad cycle. Oops, that sucked. Like
That 1,479 I got was rough.
yeah. The Iwar Strategy Workshop 485.
Well, you never did your strats, so what do
Right.
you want?
I know, Alex.
It's boring.
Hey, it's not the best part of the game for me, at least. So the question would be,
I'd rather read nonstop backstabber TTs than do my strats. Let's put it that way.
I think the secret here is that Johnny B Jr. was the backstabber. I'm gonna leave it out there. Okay, so first question.
Are you the backstabber?
That's question 2. Can we get the stats in the reports? And then 2, are you the backstabber? And 3, if you know who it is, can you tell us because they're gone now? Question 1. Is it considered cheating to have artificial intelligence create strategies for you? Johnny B. Jr. says that is an offensive question. There's absolutely nothing artificial about Michael Cook's intelligence. And shout out to Michael Cook, who is recovering from not 1 but 2 medical procedures last week. That's why we didn't have a workshop this cycle. But to make everyone feel better, if we did do the workshop and I tried to muddle through, I was going to say what my A pick was 28-27, 131. And what was the drop? 131, 28-27. And I gave it to Cash, and I gave it to Atari, and then I promptly gave them the worst back 5 possible.
17 is due.
It's 17. It's 17 holds. What's 17? Let's see. Let's
Overhead toss?
the double axe handle, which was worth 1 point last cycle. As the Iron Sheik would say, "I'm number 1."
I had a manager when I was in the NWL as the commissioner. Tell me that I was trying to help him with his strategy. He's like, "Nah, I'm picking 17. It's due." And it's never due.
And you are, as a player, you're welcome to do that if you want to run those strats. But that's
Ghetto Master Jr.
Okay. So Johnny B. Jr. Alex requested the names of our original match venues, and I furnished him with your information via email. Did you get that, Alex?
No. I gotta look again now.
I think
Oh
got,
my God! If
you
you're
got
planning to read all 386 during the live stream, please, for the sake of the viewers, have you need to unmute the wrestling footage displayed on the top left corner of the Tubecast. See, I told you he watches, so there'll be something worth listening to. Also, consider accidentally muting yourselves. After all, it's not all the locations included gems such as the Casting Couch Arena. There are a few notable exceptions, including the IWA Civic Center, Johnny B's Backyard, and the Pleasure Dome. Johnny B's Backyard. IWA Civic Center is actually a pretty good one. I might have to add that in there. I actually will tell you that I will Google Willowick and then I'll put mayor, or I'll put Willowick and whatever. There was a fall festival, and that's what I used for the backdrop for one of my TTs. So there you go, Alex. If you find it,
if I find it.
If you find it, we'll do it next time. But maybe share some of the best names you can find in that group.
Yeah. So give me
okay. Alex asked, "What is Willowick's local newspaper?" Johnny B. Jr. While not confined exclusively to the Willowick area, the 2 main papers that cover the news in our fair city are the Plain Dealer and the News Herald. Both have featured articles involving my father, original Johnny B, that were unrelated to the IWA crime report. Rather, they reported some of other accomplishments, such as high school coaching successes, what did he coach? And the computer system he created in the 80s that was translated sentences between several languages. That's pretty cool. I remember reading about that. At a time before smartphones or even the internet were available to the general public, they also frequently published his letters to the editor. Now, what are those letters about? Was he like, "The pothole on my street hasn't been fixed, and if you don't fix it, I'm sending Nuke the Punisher." Nuke the ultimate weapon.
I challenge you to a match in the IWA.
Yeah, Johnny B's Backyard, which I'm sure there were matches back there. That's a good question.
For sure.
Here's the question for Johnny B. With your family being so big, the easy question here is, who broke whose bone first? Who broke somebody's leg, broke somebody's arm, doing what? There had to be a wrestling match where, Johnny B had to come in and, pull him, the man's got a family, pull him apart, or someone went to the hospital with a broken wrist. I got to imagine with a family that big, there must have been brawls. Okay. I inquired about other games from the IWA's past. Johnny B. Jr. Particularly in the early years, my father was eager to create as many play-by-mail games as possible, fueled by the enthusiasm shown by the first generation of IWA managers. He had hoped to provide future players with entertainment spanning multiple genres, and had a seemingly infinite range of ideas for me to implement. After a few years of shouldering the creative burden alone, he hired one of his friends, a fellow high school teacher, who happened to be a member of Mensa, to assist
Oh.
the game with game design. His earlier work, along with the combined efforts, resulted in such titles as Galactic Warriors, Wizard's Challenge, Broker, Imaginary Treasure Hunts, Frightmares, Ninja, Barbarian, Zookeeper, Bounty Hunter, Squad, a racing game they were developing for Firestone, but the deal fell through, Fan Car, another racing game the DNF did not finish, multiple superhero games, including several variations of Guns, Shadow Wars, Heroes Unlimited, Sons of Liberty, Sun like the sun, and even one called Zowie with an exclamation point. Rogue Football, Imaginary Championship Boxing, which is what Alex and I both played. Our core sports games consisting of the Imaginary Baseball League, which I played, Imaginary Basketball Federation, which I played, Imaginary Football Conference, which I won a trophy for, and the Imaginary Hockey Association, all of which had 18-plus championship versions offering cash prizes, Challenge Wrestling, Instant Wrestling, Mat Men, Promoter, Mat Warriors, which was an attempt at an IW spin-off by my brother, who also drew Wildfire Johnny Rage. And
Yes!
Yep. And even a little diversion by the name of Unicorn Racing, which magically disappeared after a single round of competition. In short, we trialed so many different games in such a brief time long ago, they were likely never a complete list. That's pretty damn good, though.
Yeah, holy crap.
It's funny, 'cause like I said, I played a lot of those games. I don't remember Broker. Treasure Hunts, I remember vaguely. I was always like, what the hell, Treasure Hunt? I have some like really old bulletins for the 90s.
So were these other games like was the boxing one in like Ring Magazine or like did they advertise the non-wrestling games and non-wrestling related magazines?
I remember the ads in the bulletins. Like I remember like the Idaho Report for a while had like some really goofy 90s like word art, and there would be like a random like treasure map, like X marks a spot, and like I remember like an island thing. Bounty Hunter I don't remember, but like Galactic Warriors I remember. I have some images. I think if you actually go into that BRL like 30-year spectacular on the Idaho homepage, there's a couple. I think Rogue Football's in there. I have like some examples of those games. I'll actually have to scan them and send them to you, so we can put them in there and talk about them. But yeah, like the hockey one, I remember doing that. And what was fun is you could make your players like, I made our basketball team and our baseball team was all members of my stable. So like Scott was like the second baseman, and I was a pitcher, and Frank Snow was a catcher or whatever. Like we all had different things we did. It was fun. So here's Alex stated he wants and needs a list of Guns Hall of Famers. So Johnny B. Jr. says, to the best of my knowledge, the iteration of Guns that featured Hall of Fame did not survive long enough for anyone to qualify for the honor. In fact, my recollection is that it was exceedingly short-lived. I suspect it was the work of the supervillain Cancer. Kanzir. Oh, Cancer. I wonder if his son, the next iteration of Cancer, was his evil child. Leukemia. Oh my God. All right. Johnny B. Jr. on the both public and private versions of episode 155. Yep. Okay. Alex issued me the personal challenge of putting questions to him and his Tubecast hosts. All right. Challenge accepted. Oh boy. Here we go. For all in attendance, what was the one best and one worst job you've ever had and why? So I will let Aaron go. Aaron, what was the best and worst job you've had?
The worst job I had, the only job I got fired from in my life, I applied to this restaurant to be a dishwasher. I was out of work for a little while, and I went in, and they're like, oh, you're too overqualified to be a dishwasher. Why don't you be the sound person for our live shows that we put on in our restaurant? I was like, oh, okay, I guess I can try that. And I get in there, and there's this huge mixer board. These old people playing like Boston and like all these songs. They're like, oh, we need more reverb on our mics, and we need to like hear ourselves in the monitor. I didn't know what I was doing, so I made it through an hour of that, and they pretty much just told me to get lost and gave me $50 and sent me on my way.
Okay, and the best job?
I worked for a company briefly where we were like, they manufactured like sports replay servers. So I got to like travel to sports stadiums and like troubleshoot these servers, which was like for sports replays. So that was pretty cool. I got to go to an Arkansas Razorbacks game, football game. I also wasn't very good at that, but at least I didn't get fired from that job.
All right, Alex.
The best job is the worst job. So as a 16-year-old, I worked for what you can only describe as a telemarketing firm. But it wasn't really that. So it was a gentleman who felt the need to sell sports advice online. So we would go and we would cold call people and get them to give us money for our knowledge of football and basketball and baseball, to give them the right picks. And we would just give people random picks. However, we were allowed to drink on the job as 16-year-olds. So we drank 40 ounces. And my boss got beat up one day by some dude who just stormed the building and beat the shit out of him right in front of all of us as we just watched. And,
wow!
I just worked there to get my girlfriend a Christmas present, so we're basically just hung out the entire time.
Okay, that was your best and worst, huh?
It was. I mean, I don't think I count Chuck E. Cheese.
I mean, I know we both worked at Service Merchandise in the back room.
That's my favorite job for sure. If that place didn't go out of business, I would still be working there. So,
I think the worst job I had. It's funny. My parents always say I should write a book about all the. I've worked like so many jobs. I used to work like 3 or 4 jobs at a time, save money, then go on a vacation. I think. It's hard to say because I like the acting stuff I did. I enjoyed performing.
And porn.
Yes. Hey, I needed the money. But I would say one of the worst I had was I got this job when I was I got back into training after acting for a few years, and I was like broke. So I got in this one job at the airport, and I hopscotched to another job, and I totally got the job because of my personality. Because the guy I was doing the interview was really personable, and they were looking for someone to do training at this computer company, like a global company. And it was kind of a thing where he didn't totally represent what the job was going to be, and I was like, what you guys are looking for, I'm not really experienced as much, design. I have some design work, but not a lot of online design. And he was like, oh, you'll get it. You can catch it on like that. So what made it the worst job, though, was when he was doing the hiring, was because his boss, the main boss of the department, was on maternity leave. And when she came back, she started firing everybody that was hired that she didn't hire personally. And there was 3 of us left that were like not fired yet because we were doing our jobs. We weren't being really bad. Right. But she made the atmosphere so toxic. It was just like the passive aggressive stuff was off the charts. Her office was like 6 feet from my cube, and she would go a week without saying a word to me. She would send emails for meetings and show up, and she never asked me about my projects, like even though I was there to bring an update. Mm-hmm. So she would it made you hate working there. But I think I can say that the best job is being an IWA commissioner.
What a
Johnny. All right, next question.
What a
he
loser.
said a bunch. Just for Alex. This is the Just for Alex section.
Oh, okay.
In your early days of the game, how did you stay motivated to keep writing trash talk when the other managers in your league were basically ignoring you for numerous consecutive cycles? And now that you're a seasoned TT veteran, how does the reality of the interactions you've had with players over the years compare with your initial hopes?
It was rough. I mean, it was rough the first, I would say, 6 cycles that I'm writing to myself. And, like, no one has paid any mind to me whatsoever. I had a plan, though. So it was like, so I wanted to tell the story, even though, like, no one was reading it at the time, but I wanted to pay it off at the end. But the entire Luther character comes from Bob's interpretation of one of my TTs, which it wasn't what it was supposed to be. So the original Luther character he was a babyface, and he was someone who was a traveling warrior, kind of like out of an old kung fu flick, or an old western, like a guy who just kind of breezes into town and takes care of business and fights for justice. And my initial TTs, the premise was that he would go to these different landmarks in professional wrestling history. He went to Grenoble in the French Alps. He's at the Double Cross Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, home of the Funks. And he's going to all these places. And one of the last ones I did, he's in a Russian training facility, and he picks up the Russian chain, right? So he took Nikita Koloff, right? The whole deal there. Yep. And Bob took that as, oh, this guy is Russian. And that's how it just starts from there. So I kind of went with the flow of the way he interpreted it, because to me, if I'm writing something and someone interprets it a certain way, that's the way it's supposed to be interpreted. It's the way they interpret it, not the way I wrote it. So he thought I was Russian, so I'm Russian now, and I just played off from that, and that's how Luther starts. And then he starts doing more and more outlandish things. I think the first big one was him doing a run-in at the Olympics. But that year, Olympics it was the Winter Olympics that didn't have wrestling. So instead of doing a run-in on the amateur wrestling, he did a run-in on the figure skating competition. And he beats up like Dorothy Hamill or whatever figure skater I chose at the time, and he gets ridiculous. And to me, when we were talking about when I was especially the commissioner of the NWL, was like not ignoring anybody. Like everyone had a voice, everyone would get a reaction, and making sure they were acknowledged. I think that helped kept people in the game. It helped our numbers be pretty substantial for that entire time until they drove me completely crazy. That's why the Blaze was so important in the IWL, because they gave everyone their kind of like, hey, we see you. We acknowledge your existence. We acknowledge your contribution. And that's a big part of the game. And any commissioners out there is like, you have to acknowledge, even if their TT's terrible or it makes no sense, or you get the people who are kind of playing in their own world and they're not playing in the same game that we're playing. They're just kind of out there doing their own thing. There's still the level of acknowledgement that you have to have for these folks. So that's what keeps people vested in your league. So, yeah,
no, it's a really good point to bring up. And I know there's times like, going back to my early days, I used to call it the scattershot approach, or the wide net, where I would just, whoever did TT, my first big mouthy bad guy was Bodacious Brad Blaze. And I would just cut people, which is actually, Brad Blaze is the father of Adam Cash and Aleatari in canon. And I would just call out as many people as I could. And it was amazing how often it worked well. And I've done that with LePage Turner, with U.S. Mail, Barry Stevens to a degree, but he's more like focused on one person at a time. But it's a really big point that, when you have players who do put the time in to do something, whether it's an attack or promo, one of the best things you can do as a player is play off what they give you. And I know even like today, someone wrote like, oh, a guest appearance by my two dads and someone else's TT. Or like I used Lee T. Gation, which is Jeremy's lawyer wrestler, as the BWO lawyer for the fans that sued the company because they keep beating up Idaway fans. All right, so next question is for me. Considering that you were Triple H's sparring partner before he became famous, when he finally hit it big, would you say it was similar to an actor's family member seeing them in a blockbuster film? Or were you able to experience his debut in a much same way that you did as other future superstars? If it was the former, was the feeling ever changed? In other words, have you ever found yourself getting caught up in the moment and forgetting you were watching someone who would formerly been just a regular person to you? When he first came to the school,
you already knew, right? Like he's going to make it at that point, right?
Well, it was just Paul Levesque, and he was from New Hampshire, and he had done a lot of bodybuilding contests, and so he was already pretty strong. And I remember the first, second or third time we worked together, he power bombed me, and he was so strong. Like when you go for a power bomb, you do a crunch, and you get so you take me up, I go up, and then you throw me down. And he was so strong, I couldn't even get my crunch up ready. He just whipped me up, and then boom. And I remember being like, holy shit, this guy's strong. And like when I trained, the main guy I trained with, we were always paired up by size. So there were a lot of guys. I always thought that when I went to the school, I would be like the shortest guy. I was the second tallest, and I'm like 5'10", 5'11". When I have boots on, I'm like 6'1". But realistically, most of the guys were like 5'7", 5'6". My partner was 6'8", 500 pounds, so I didn't mind being with someone who was big and strong or bigger than me. But he was fast on the pickup. He picked it up really quick. And Walter did a really good job of making sure, he knew he had a gold nugget there. And I remember when he gave the name Terror Rising. Oh, I remember being like, "What? Terror Rising?" And like one of the guys that also played IWA, John Rodeo, who's he's in the BRL tribute issue. He was his manager for a while. And then he got hurt pretty bad because I forget who it was, but they threw him out. I forget who threw him. He got thrown out of the ring, didn't get caught, and got like really effed up. And thankfully, because Triple H caught him as well as he did, he didn't get hurt worse. But it's when I see him, perform for a long time, it was kind of like, envious, like, oh man, if I hadn't gotten hurt. But I always remember feeling like when he was given like the terrorizing gimmick, and then he was, he went on and became, Jean-Paul Levesque, and he was in WCW, and I was like, oh, the rich like French aristocrat, and then he became Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which was a poke at the, Vince's neighbors, the rich, whatever, and then he became Triple H the Game, and it was like the evolution, It was fun to see. I've always rooted. I felt really bad when he got hurt. I remember watching him tear his quad both times. I remember when it was like his knee was. He hurt something else one time, and it was like, ugh, And then I remember when he came back and he hurt his bicep, and then when he had his heart problem, you feel bad. But I think what stands out to me was when I was at the wake for Walter Killer Kowalski, and I was in the back, and he came in and stood next to me and gave me like this look, and I was like, I remember you. And he's like, I remember you, because that first week or two it was constant work, and the thing about when you're going to your first days of wrestling school, like it used to be, and I don't mean to be like an old timer, but wrestling school used to be you get the basics down, and then you start working and like practicing and doing the bumps and doing the forward rolls and then after Tough Enough, wrestling schools changed. Unfortunately, it became a drill scenario where like you just kept doing like, all right, everyone get in line. We're going to do the run back and forth, take a bump, get out of the ring, go back in line. And to me, it was way better learning in like a practice match and going through the motions and learning spontaneity. Like Perry Saturn was one of the guys that taught me a lot of things. And he used to not call stuff. Like he wouldn't be verbal. He would just, like, you had to know how to take the bump depending on what he was doing. But anyways, all of which is to say, Triple H, it's kind of a cool thing in that I actually, someone found the footage of him and I, and that person did like a bio piece on him, and I found it, so I'm going to have to send it to you, Alex, so you can run it at some point. It's short clips. It's like him giving me a backbreaker. It's him giving me a double underhook suplex, and then us in the ring as Walter's giving us some coaching. And but yeah, all right. So that was that question. So there's a question for Aaron here. Aaron, you attended Dynamite, Rampage, and Revolution shows in early March, and were mulling whether to make the trip to Seattle to see Defy Wrestling or head to Vancouver for Nation Extreme Wrestling. Have you been to another show yet? If not, what is the one matchup that would utterly compel you to spend the evening sitting in an uncomfortable seat drinking $25 beers?
I Full Gear is still up in the air for me. if I can get enough money, I guess that's November 18th, but I'd love to see Full Gear. I'm pretty lucky. California is pretty close, and the flights are pretty cheap from where I am. So, but I haven't been to Defy, and I haven't been to NEW. But yeah, I'll get out to another show soon. Is there a match? I guess MJF versus Jay White would be a pretty awesome match to see live. I think I'd like to see that one.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if they're doing Swerve versus Hangman 2 at Full Gear, but that'd be pretty awesome to see live. Seeing MJF versus Bryan Danielson live was pretty crazy. And I went back and watched that match recently. And just the fact that I was there is pretty mind-blowing.
$25 beers is still scary. There's a question here for Scott. I know Scott's not on with us right now, but if he'll listen. It says, just for Scott. So Scott can answer this next time he's with us. Fans of the Tubecast, especially its number one fan, would like to hear details about the night you managed a real-life Southern Heavyweight Champion to the title. They care a great deal less to hear about the jobber you managed, who is also your best friend. So that was the last question. But thank you, Johnny B. As always, you can always send us questions. We're happy to answer them. I am curious about the Johnny B. Backyard. Who was the champion? Who was the David Von Erich? Who was like the head honcho?
He still hasn't answered my Boxers a Brief question.
He's Commando. That's so there's that. So Alex, what do you want to do next?
Take over the world.
That's Luther talking.
It is.
Write it in a TT, buddy.
Yeah.
We'll start with BRL.
All right.
Let me get to it. I could probably share the screen actually and have the results in front of us too, but I'll work on that for another time.
That's fine.
We're always working on improving the show here at the Tubecast.
Sure.
Yes, that's your questions and lavish donations.
You don't do donations anymore. Everything is free.
Oh.
But I will take a hearty handshake and a thumbs
Did
up.
you get my dollar donation that didn't go through?
Probably.
I think they charge you for it. I think you should have got my money.
I think it's only in Russian rubles.
It is.
It's Bitcoin.
Dogecoin.
We had Johnny Bucks for a while. Remember when Johnny Revolution had his own cryptocurrency for?
Yes.
Yes, that was a thing for a while. That's good stuff. All right, PRL. This is number 609.
Sure.
Yeah, 609. League champion Monster Truck Tanaka. Why is this all weird? Battle Royal winner, the Monster of Mayhem, Donnie Bloodstone. BRL TV champion, Jay the Vixen Red. Central Plains champion, Winnipeg Wookie. East Coast champion, El Barbaro. Great Lakes champion, Alligator. Mid-Atlantic champion, Heavy D. Not with the boys, though, apparently.
No.
So keep that in mind. Northeast champion, Bizarro, the schizophrenic clown. Pacific Northwest champion, Jackson Bordeaux. Rocky Mountain champions, Double R, Rob Ratcliffe. Southeast champion, Lionheart, Lachlan Kincaid. Is that how they sell that?
Lachlan.
Close enough.
What the fuck? Lachlan Kincaid. Southwest champion, Randy the Ramp. He's still around? West Coast champion, Hawaiian Heartthrob. Tag team champions, Samoan Assassin and Tona Noya. BRL tag team champions, Brendan McFlaherty and Rory McFlaherty, right? Okay.
Nice. Nailed it.
6-man champions winning another 5 free matches. Mannequins 1, 2, and 3. BRL 6-man champions, the Saskatchewan Squatch. Shapeshifter RJ Gold and the Zombie Hunter Matthew Porter. So Matt was going down in the BRL.
How the hell did I know? I just got the bulletin. I will say this though. I could have a quick skim. There's
Gross.
lots of TT, so thank you for those. Everyone sent it in.
Foreskin?
Send it in. It's a quick skim.
Oh, I thought they said foreskin.
Foreskin. Yeah, it's a brisk party.
It's brisk, baby.
No. It's looking good. The league's getting bouncing back. It's funny. Earlier we were talking in our Iwar chat about how it's funny how like all of a sudden you go from being quiet to league takes off, drops down again, and all it takes is a couple of players just falling off, missing a cycle, and it can make a difference as far as activity goes. But we are rolling towards the Battlecade end of year pay-per-view at the holiday cycle. For those of you keeping count at home, this is the October cycle. We have November, December, holiday. So in the Iwar, we always finish the year in the holiday cycle, and we always start the new year in January. So there's 3 cycles left after this. I'm particularly excited because Monster Truck Tanaka winning makes almost like basically a 3-way dead heat tie for Wrestler of the Year in the BRL. So that makes it really fun. Steel Clad Oates is still pretty much in control of the IWL, and we got WTL and CWL as well now. So we got more leagues, more competition, and I've heard from players who've told me they're going to the CWL or WTL. So it's kind of good to see people coming in, new faces, new writing. And what I particularly like is that we're seeing some people I've not seen before. So that's always a good sign when you have players. Because I always say that we don't realize how many players are out there that are not all over the place. Like I think the Iwar Dungeon, there's about 10 to a dozen players that kind of make most of the posts. Yeah, I mean that's a minuscule amount of the players in the game.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind. It's kind of like if you ever listen to sports radio, it's like the same 4 guys calling every other day. It's Danny from Quincy. It's so and so. It's the guy in the boat. And they're saying that, the coach sucks and this team needs to do this. Okay, I make memes about it because it is so true. But this is the worst cycle ever. The Iwar is the worst. Oh, well, I got to get back to finishing my strats for tomorrow. I'll be back later and, tell you guys. It's like if you hit, you're a genius. If you miss. And I can tell you this cycle I had a lot of shots. And my best was a 500, so Tanaka won that, and that's good because it's again BRL Battle Royal 25, League 25 in credit, timely. I'm actually going to start. I've been kind of being frugal with my free matches and credit. I'm going to start cranking up the spending and get some more matches going. But BRL wise, I would just say if you see that there's wrestlers not in the pay-per-view coming up and you want to be involved, email me directly. I'm happy to help make that happen. We'll use Dick Jackson's column to put those things in action. So that's the BRL right now.
I dig that. Next up, Black Widow League. Black Widow champion, the Queen of the Ring, Arya Gunpowder. BWL television champion, Brenda Bring Da Pain. Battle Royal winner, Queen of the Ring, Arya Gunpowder. Japan Idol champion, Huntress. Joshi's champion, Wildfire Better Red. Zenjo champion, Francine Bloodfoggy.
Bless you.
Her too.
Okay. Luchadores champion, Spitfire, Jeannie Briggs. Cholita's champion, the Supreme Court Justice. Belichick's champions, Meat Train. Damascaria champion, Rudy Groove. Hollywood champion, Gold Digger, Gina Colada. Sin City champion, Penny Punk. Willowick champion, the Wicked Spider, Erica Phobia. So Matt, what's going down in the BWL?
Well, the BWL, as featured on the cover of this issue of the Iwar magazine, is hosting No Man's Land 2 pay-per-view.
Electric Boogaloo?
Yes, the write-up will be next cycle. The results for this cycle. I can tell you that we had some shocking upsets and some big results. I didn't do them all out yet, but I can tell you that we do have a new the new champion. It's just a lot in that pay-per-view, so it's going to be a fun one to write up. So I'm looking forward. I don't want to give it all away right now, but it's funny because Mike Drake and I were kind of kicking around some ideas about how to take this little feud we're working on and what to do with the title matches, and it kind of just it was organic and kind of built. And is that Luther Alexander seducing Willis?
None of them are Willis, by the way. That's Dudley and Arnold. For Christ's sakes.
I wasn't a big fan, sorry. Mr. Stokely? What was his name?
I believe Mr. Stokely, he was the
name of the
bike
guy who lived
store.
with?
Oh, you mean Mr. Drummond?
Drummond, thank you. Couldn't think of the name. Anyways, so there's a lot of matches in the BWL, and there's going to be some surprises. So stay tuned. If you weren't on the pay-per-view, it doesn't necessarily mean you weren't on the show. So be sure to read that right up next cycle. Anyway, my point being that it was a fun main event to build into, to get up to, and now it's going to see what happens next. So hopefully the BWL can keep building. We're actually about to introduce some bonuses that are going to come to the BWL next year that hopefully will help draw more people to come in to compete. So there it is.
There it is. Dig it. All right, next up, CWL, Continental Wrestling League, number 311. League champion, Master Sadist. TV champion, Thrash. United States champion, The Silencer, John Whitten. Yukon champion, JGC. Caribbean champion, the Scandinavian Nightmare, Glenn Vanderson. Amazon Basin champion, the Bremerton Bad Boy, Felix Sputnik. British Isles champion, Hazrat. Arabian champion, One Man Scandal, Corey Workman. South African champion, This Is How We Do It. Siberian champion, The American Patriot. East Asian champion, Sharp Tongue, Colonel Angus. Oceanic champion, Cobra. League tag team champions, Sundog Taser and Sundog Razor. TV tag team champions, Jibber Jabber Josh Tow Truck Ford and Top Sexy Scott the Driller. League 6-man champion, Slaughter Dog Creo or Coreo, Slaughter Dog Cujo, and Slaughter Dog Rex. It's like a Moondogs tribute, which I dig.
Yes.
TV 6-man champions, the Boogeyman, KC Omega, the Enforcer, Steely Danielson, and Yacht Rocket, Rupert Cole. And your Battle Royal winner, the Silencer, John Whitten. So Matt, what's going down? And the CWL.
Well, the big news in the CWL is, of course, 0 Hour. 0 Hour is their sort of qualifying event to get into the pay-per-view title matches. So the first thing was a batch of matches where the winners would then go on to a match to compete for the title. So the winners were Master Sadist over Nature Boy Phil Landers, Midnight Scorpion over Barry USA Stevens, Fabulous Harry Hurt over American Patriot, the Sarah Jericho Cross over Axel Von Snap. I'll just read the winners here. Hotshot Eddie Gilmore, Zodiac Horoscope, Cobra, The Genuine Artificial, and Thrash all qualified. So one of those winners will be the first CWL World Champion. And then there was a tag team qualifier where Millennial Reign defeated Harry Hurt and La De La Shriek, and or De La Shriek, sorry. And the Millennial Reign will now face the Von Schnapps, and the winner of that match will be the new CWL World Tag Champs. And then the 6-man, it was the Millennials and Phil Landers over high-speed Chase Driver, Fabulous Harry Hurt, and Bloodsucker Mosquito. And the Millennial guys and Phil Landers will face the 4 Horsemen.
Oh.
Horse as in like horse.
Ah.
The Boogeyman Casey Omega, the Enforcer Steely Danielson, and Yacht Rocker Rupert Cole. They beat the Pudding family, and a single Dorito inside a bag of Sun Chips, which is always terrible. So now that'll build into the next pay-per-view, which will be the one determining all the champions. So that's CWL. I do want to mention CWL-wise that I believe Derek runs How We Do It. I think. I'm pretty sure.
And I can confirm that Luther Alexander will not be Samantha Sola's secret wrestler that she's going to be bringing out. So I can confirm that.
I do want to.
Could be Che Guerrero though, but I'll not confirm.
I do want to recognize that the returning player, Corey Workman, who has come back, and he played NWL a while back, and he's come into the CWL. So welcome. And all other players popping in.
It's good to see Fabulous Harry Hurt in there as well.
I hate Harry Hurt. I hate him.
No, it's not hate. It's fabulous.
I like him. I have Barry Stevens make a poke at him, so let's see if he notices. I haven't read the TT yet, so we'll see what happens. So there you have it. Do you?
I do dig it. I do dig these belts that I see here. These belts are pretty cool.
Those are nice.
Those are really nice. So fantastic. Next up, IWL, Independent Wrestling League number 181, the league champion Blackjack Robertson, still around.
Again.
Ah, boy,
501.
Television champion Texas Jesse Tombstone. God damn it, Ryan.
Yep.
New York City champion Firebird John Satterfield. Los Angeles champion Duke Smack Talker. Boston champion Shotgun James Carnage. Detroit champion Andrew Ace Armas. Cleveland champion The Lunatic Matthew Grabowski. What is that?
That's the results on a way page.
Oh, I can't see it.
Sorry.
It's just Dallas champion Father Conrad, Memphis champion Donathan Annihilation, Miami champion Bulk Broken, San Francisco champion Big Bad Bob Harris, Chicago champion Rusilov Voronovich. Okay.
Him too.
Yep, he's 2-0. League tag team champions, winning 5 free matches. The Inspector Henry Taylor and Constable George Campbell. TV 6-man champions Texas Jesse Tombstone and Blackjack Robertson. God damn. The League 6-man champions winning another 5 free matches. Axel, Alec, and Alex Von Snop. TV 6-man champion Texas Jesse Tombstone, Blackjack Robertson, and Shotgun James Carnage. And your Battle Royal winner, winning 43 free IWL matches like he needs it. Texas Jesse Tombstone. So Matt, what's going down in the IWL?
Well, this issue has the results of the Royal Flush pay-per-view write-ups, and there's more coming. We're going into the Holiday Bash, I believe it's called. I got to double-check that, but the Holiday pay-per-view at the IWL. Sorry, I'm starting to feel it.
Your penis?
I'm taking the 10-hour energy drink.
Just drink 2 5s.
Yeah, I know, right? I take a quick sip and I'm like, I got 20 minutes of energy. Let's go. Whatever it takes. No, I would say that IWL, we have some new faces coming in there, so it's good to see the arrival, like Duke Smack Talker. Good to see Bulk Brogan back. I like to see some more TT out of him.
Yeah.
Same with Big Bad Bob Harris. Although, just change your font. I always hate reading your promos because the font makes me go like, ah. And whoever runs Rossitalov Voronov, him too. Welcome. So, yeah, and the Von Schnaps 521. Woo! There it is.
I dig it. You know, there was a no Russian policy in the IWL for a long time, by the way. So,
Yeah, why'd that happen?
well, you know why. Next up, MML. No, NWL. This is cycle number 208. New Wave League. Should be National Wrestling League, but that's another story. League champion Greg E. Money. TV champion Rachel Zamazaki. Central Chains champion Hillbilly Voodoo Docs Holland. East Coast champion Chester the Convict Manning. Great Lakes champion El Grandioso. Mid-Atlantic champion Double D Christoph. Northeast champion Sarah B. Money. Pacific Northwest champion. These all from the fucking Battle Royal? God damn it.
What?
All these champions are from the Battle Royal.
Oh, yeah.
That's interesting. Pacific Northwest champion Das Beast Henrik Schroeder. Rocky Mountain champion Thomas T.D. Banks. Southeast champion Ludwig Schroeder. Southwest champion Derek Cash Styles. West Coast champion Toyoshi Makazu. League Tag Team Champions El Grandioso and Hillbilly Voodoo Docs Holland. TV Tag Team Champions Mike Rampage Sanders and Killer Creed. League 6-Man Champions Old Gray Hair El Grandioso and Hillbilly Voodoo Docs Holland. TV 6-Man Champions Sabotage Chester the Convict Manning and AJ Hammer. And your Battle Royal winner, Chester the Convict Manning. So hey, let's go down in the NWL.
Well, we're having a nice uptick in activity in the NWL. 106 cards this time, 22 Battle Royal entrants. And yeah, I mean, we've kind of had another transition of some of our big stars. We've got the Institution, Norman Kevkis, Mongo, and Future Man. They're moving on after a pretty epic run in the NWL. I think they're going to end up as the number 2 NWL tag team of all time, so congrats to them. It sounds like, and I've got some breaking news, it sounds like they're going to head to the CWL next.
Oh.
So the CWL is going to be really lucky to have the Institution amongst their ranks. I think the next big team that's going to be set to graduate is going to be the Yamazaki Corporation, who have also had a pretty epic run in the NWL. But they're going to be around for a few more cycles leading into our next pay-per-view. Speaking of pay-per-views, we just finished our Collision Course 3 pay-per-view, which had some big happenings in it. We've got a new Young Lions champion in Greg E. Money. I think it was only his second or third cycle in. He defeated who is now the infamous He-Man Hoven, who pretty much turned his back on the fans. He totally jilted the entire roster. And maybe it was karma that he lost the Young Lions championship because of that. But we've got a new champion in Greg E. Money. And then we're going to be heading into our next pay-per-view, which will be for the holiday cycle, and it's going to be called Battleground. And what we're going to be heading into is basically we've had Commissioner Johnny B running the league for about a year now, and he mysteriously had to go overseas and take care of some business over there. While he was gone, his kids, Mac O'Brien and Donnie B, took over the NWL. So now we're having a bit of a feud between who's going to control the NWL. And at Battleground in the holiday cycle, it's going to be Team Johnny B versus Team Mac and Donnie. It's going to be sort of a Survivor Series type of match, and whoever wins that match is going to come out with control of the NWL heading into 2024.
Johnny B didn't go to Epstein Island, did he?
Oh, jeez.
No comment.
Oh, no.
Just saying. He went overseas. Seems kind of vague to me. I don't know. Seems like he's up to no good and some shenanigans and tomfoolery.
Well, you'll have to tune into the NWL to find out.
All right, fantastic. All right, next up is WTL, Western Trails League, number 83. Western Frontiers champion should be the Western States Heritage Championship, by the way. Winning another 10 free matches, or winning 10 free matches, Benji Buckshot. Lone Star champion, Atomic Shotgun. Shoulder Plains champion, the High Roller, Paul Vegas. Mexico champion, the Prodigy, Gage Prime? No. Gage Prime? Like Optimus, maybe? Dodge City champion, Bowen Bollock, Tombstone champion. The Dumpster, Mo Heathcliff. Prairie champion, Teenage Rage, Maxwell Clark. Widowmaker champion, Maximus Hightower. Badass champion, the Gambler, Jack Potts. The Cripple Creek champions, the Dream, Diego Inguego. Southwest champion, Meepo the Clown. Chisholm Trails champion, the Prototype, Pierre Rush. Western Frontiers tag team champions, the Spittoon, Loogie, and the Gambler, Jack Potts. Lone Stars champions, Lone Ranger and Mid-South Maxwell. Western Frontier Tier 6-man champions, winning 5 free matches. Zippo the Clown, Meepo the Clown, and Beepo the Clown. And your Lone Star 6-man champions, Shanks Wilson, Sal Black Charlie, and Shackles Malone. And your Bunkhouse Brawl winners, Halloween Jack. So, Matt, what's going down in the WTL?
Well, there's a lot. It's gaining momentum, and we have a commissioner report again. It was not stolen like it was last time. And
there's a rapper in here.
A rapper?
Yeah, Wrestling Rap Force.
Oh, Rap Force.
Bowen Bolick is a rapper. Must be a protege of Billy Jack Novak.
Billy Jack Novak was the first one to really pave the way. No, it's there's a couple of contests going on within the commission report, and Scott is kind of building things up in there. So give it a read, and as always, join in.
I like the fact there's a lot of fresh ideas and fresh characters in this league. I mean, you know, Senior Lucha excluded, of course. There's nothing fresh about him at all. But everyone else seems to be like pretty.
He's got fresh blue chew.
It sure does. So it's exciting to see, they're really kind of coming into their own here and kind of creating its own identity, which is really cool to see. So,
yeah, it's fun to see the Iwar expand, have some leagues that are kind of growing. Not the overwhelming powerhouses that the IWL and the BRL can be, which is really really hard to win there. But like I said, WTL's got stuff rolling along. Some feuds are forming, and we got new talent coming in, so that really helps move things along. And if we figure out whoever stole that commission report, like I said, take part and read the commission's report and see if you get in on the action. Is that Florida wrestling, or is that Hawaii still?
It should be all Hawaii.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it a cage match with?
It's the Sheik.
Brody.
Brody.
Who's the country boy?
I have to look.
Oh.
Kevin Sullivan.
It's an unusual.
Mark Lewin, I believe.
Oh, there, Mark Lewin, I assume. Regular Luther Alexander type team. Is that Kamala?
Might be Kamala or Kamala 2.
Is this a battle royal? What is this? This is crazy.
This is what I consider real wrestling, by the way. Just complete shenanigans and tomfoolery, and these characters are just completely over the top, and we're gonna see some some violence and some blood. That may be Kamala 2 Ben Peacock, by the way.
Okay. Let's say Iwar events. Bound for Glory, Tag Team Derby, Triple D Cup, and the War Games all rolled on. The War Games are going to be an all Royal Family of Doom finale.
Oh.
Although Greg sent me a message and he's like, I saw you set the scoring out, and I had a 500 on a 501, so I want to be honest. And I was like, you're in the finals either way, and he knew that too. But I appreciated the honesty. The Bound for Glory and all those events, they're rolling on. There's War Games will be the final this coming cycle, but we have 2 more cycles, and then the ladder match battle royal will be in the holiday cycle. So make sure you get involved with that. That of course is $2 per entry, and there's more to it than this, but just you want to be in on it. Let's see here. The best 14, which is the Thanksgiving theme, starts next cycle. So the matchups are introduced. So if Church Laughingstock was inactive this cycle, which was lucky because there was no match, so he'll be back next cycle. But no, I think we have a lot going on. And I'm working on an expanded ranks page, and I realized this yesterday morning. Oh my God, we are almost at the 200th Iwar magazine issue.
Jeez Louise.
I have to do a special something or other for it.
Gold Rush.
Gold Rush report in the old days. So yeah, maybe we'll have Luther's Full House on as a special guest.
Yeah. He's doing sitcoms and television right now, so.
Hey, he's gonna make money somehow.
He does. Can't use his body. That's for sure.
I heard he was doing blue films.
Blue's Clues. But it's Blue's Clues.
I'm not ashamed that I actually have that film, by the way. The Stallone one.
You gotta find the clue. It's in my pants.
I have my notebook. Blue's Clues. Anyways, I do want to do a special couple shout outs to Tim Clark, who has really stepped up his trash talk game, and he's also taken advantage of an AI engine. I think it's called Imagine AI. But there's a lot of AI engines out there if you want to take advantage of them. And we also have the Iwar Wrestler Creation Lab. So if you contact me, and I can put together your wrestler, I can also tweak your wrestler over time so the looks will improve. That's always fun. We did Krakatoa and Double D Christoph from the NWL most recently. But like Greggy Money has a good design. Mike Rampage Sanders has a good design. So it's like there's some really good images out there. And it's fun to see because it makes it easier. And one of the guys shared in our Iwar chat group, I think it was like one of the old Pro Wrestling Illustrated where like the picture of the wrestlers most hated and top ranked. That's the kind of thing we could do when everyone had images. That really helps make it work.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So anyway, that's kind of what's going on. So there it is.
All right. Fantastic. I dig it. All right, guys. So we are officially out of time. So for Aaron and for Matt, I'm Alex G. Have a good night.
A beleza que existe.